thank you all for coming. I want to thank Pi Architects for hosting. Eric's going to be a little mouthpiece here. And we've been working with Pi for, many moons, yes. So it's good to see.
Remember the cat off?
Yep, we had a cat off with Revit. That's right, and they failed miserably. Made me look good, actually. This is the last showcase we have scheduled for a while. They've been very successful in Austin. We got delayed because of the hurricane and recovery in Houston, so we haven't been doing that sort of thing. But these sessions have been great. I really appreciate the firms that we can highlight. And so hopefully you guys can learn some things. So I'll turn it over to Eric.
Awesome. Well, thanks, JT. Appreciate it. Thank you, Caleb. Thanks to Caddyshack for putting this together, presenting tonight. And thanks to Greg and Mark, my bosses there, for letting us experiment with all the cool stuff I'm going to show you here. Okay, so I guess first maybe a word about Pi for all those who are new here. We are a multidisciplinary firm. We've been around since the early 90s, but we've been focused on senior living since 2001. We have interior design, landscape architecture, and architecture all in-house, and we design senior living around the country. My role is as kind of a project architect, and I help get to deal with some design sometimes, and a lot of this coordination stuff. So I guess, this talk is about designing in ARCHICAD with virtual reality. Maybe first kind of a quick foray into the world of virtual reality as it is right now. As you can see, there's like a lot of hardware out there, and that's what this whole top row is. The render button, you have to wait for each of these little pixels to get processed until the entire picture is done, when you finally can see the result of what you've been modeling. And you have to export your model out of ARCHICAD or wait maybe in your BIM software to hit the render button before you can move that light and check it again, that kind of thing. So this, while useful, kind of is the traditional process. And so what I'd like to sort of point your attention to are the solutions that are out there that give you what I call like a real-time environment, where when you move a light around, you can see the shadows move with it. You can have multiple lights interacting with each other in different colors. Having that functionality actually really lends itself to being able to do iterative design. And so what I've got here is just a screenshot from the Unreal Engine, where I just stopped the camera and took a screenshot. I'm not rendering anything. This is in real time as I'm designing. If I move my camera around, I'm watching the reflections on the TV screen. This is a game engine. And so they've gotten really good at generating realistic enough. Getting a sense of scale in your space can be a design tool, just like the 3D is. If you can output it to a VR headset, put it on your face and kind of look around and get a sense that, oh, that's a 14-foot tall ceiling. Maybe we need to take that down a bit, you know? And that it's not just a relational massing quality, it's now a feeling of scale that isn't necessarily translated when you're just looking on a flat screen like this. So you'll actually get to walk through this model itself in VR to kind of see what I'm talking about.
The client, we were just showing off the common spaces and we were showing the office. So, to keep getting stuck behind the...
What was the timing that it took to...
from first in?
So, when we actually used VR in our design process, we were experimenting. So, we were looking for ways to, along the way, to say, well, we got this cool tool, how do we sort of integrate that a bit? And part of the process for us is, of course, always kind of starting off in SDs, gathering that program from the client, doing lots and lots of sketches, and taking those plans in ARCHICAD and starting to develop like a rudimentary schematic design plan. Several weeks down the road, we are beginning to implement certain elements, verticality to each of the features. And so when we start carving up those spaces and thinking about view lines, that's when we want to see it in 3D. How's this going to look? But popping it in on VR, we realized these need to be 14-foot tall ceilings. These are awesome. You know, being able to walk around these things in VR is a game changer, and it really informed, you know, our thoughts of the design. And so that kind of changed the vocabulary elements that we started integrating. So by the time we are at the tail end of DD, we're really trying to get as much in 3D as possible because we want to get a sense of that space. You want to feel the scale. You know, when we developed this big flush wall over here, it was just screaming to have a piece of art on it. So let's show some art. You know, let's get that in 3D, and it really kind of sold the space just internally. And this is all just within the design team to work together, and the interiors to rely on the non-interiors team to also, it was obvious where finishes could go. Because when you see another blank wall, you're thinking, well, gee, you know, I see this wood coming here. You could see it in 3D, it was evident. And so these textures were one-for-one matches, not just from the manufacturer, but photos that we would take of the samples we got in the office, of, you know, as close as possible to the actual materials. And so with that, it made it really easy to not just do the DMX, but now you can do any kind of rendering you want. Once you get the textures in ARCHICAD, you can output it to a lot of rendering solutions. And so to kind of follow the theme with VR, we wanted to see what that would look like, and we worked in the Unreal Engine, which, as I kind of explained earlier, was like a real-time engine. So at this point, we got to add light sources in there. We went ahead and just modeled the light fixtures. And getting all of that in 3D and finally putting it on for the first time in VR was wow. So we ended up using the Unreal version of the model to present to the client and to the contractor. And so one of the things we were worried about with this was, sure, we got all the textures in, it's looking great, but you know, they're just not gonna have the budget to allow for these tall, thin-like elements and be LVL. So let's, you know, we'll sell them as, you know, veneer on top of built-out stud walls, right? And so, without saying anything, getting the contractor's input on this and just not even look at the plans, like here's the space, here's the ceiling, here's this feature, and talking through the program, contractor immediately thought, oh, you know, those need to be LVLs. We got instant buy-in from the contractor out the gate without even bringing it up, and having that decision, you know, congruent with our design intent, as obvious as what the space is going to feel like. It became apparent that, you know, the important design qualities you always are trying to fight for to make it their way into the project, you can just point to them, and you're going to know, you're getting more of a final design implement when you can walk around that and see from different angles.
60 degrees, and it would be able to track him over the 3 sensors. So as of right now, if he turns around 180 degrees, we'll lose sight of him. And then the program has a little bit more trouble.
So if you were to teleport behind that island right there, so you're standing behind it, literally take a step forward in space, and now look to your right. Now reach forward and grab that owl
With your index finger.
with your index, the grip button, like as if you're.
Oh.
There you go. Valuables collected. One of 10 or something like that.
Yes.
Oh man.
Well, actually, what you're doing right there, yeah, cast yourself out of this room, go down the hallway to the right.
To the right.
Yeah. Turn to the right some more. Literally rotate your body to the right. Okay, now look, yeah, see the little opening in the fins to your right?
We'll see. He's gonna have trouble.
Oh, now you're all turned around.
Sorry.
So, because the sensor is going to have a hard time seeing you. Why don't you rotate back to the left? Sorry. Yeah. So you can like go behind the reception desk there. You can grab that vase if you want and chuck it across the room.
Or grab that.
Grab that.
Yep.
Okay, I'll let somebody else do this. This is just for
Engine. So anything you can do with a video game, like we could have the left stick to where it's walking, and the right stick moves the head.
or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, 180 degrees, and look down. And you can kneel down and pick up that owl. Physically kneel down,
Like lay down.
or do that. And it should
Can you
just
say
be
down
in
with
the
it?
client. We were just showing off the common spaces, and we were showing the office. So keep getting stuck behind the
What was the timing that it took to
from first.